Hello everyone, welcome to CodeChef. Myself Jwala Charasi and today we are going to solve the problem which came into starters 195. The name of the problem is failing grades and the problem code is fail. The difficulty rating of the problem is cakewalk and the prerequisite is ad hoc. Let's start with reading the problem statement over here. So guys, problem says chef took n total tests in his university numbered 1 to n chronologically. Each was graded out of 100 marks. He scored A of 5 marks in the ith test. Chef's scholarship requires that his average remain at or above 40 marks after taking each test. Was Chefs able to keep his scholarship print? Yes or no accordingly. Input format. The first line of input will contain a single integer t denoting the number of test cases. Each test case consists of multiple lines of input. The first line of each test case contains n, the number of test cases. The second line contains n integer a1, a2 till a of n. Output format for each test case, output on a new line yes if chef was able to keep his scholarship and no otherwise. It is allowed to print each character in either case, that is yes, and these sorts of characters will all be accepted as a positive response. Constraint for t lies from 1 to 100, for n lies from 1 to 100, for a of I lies from 1 to 100. So guys, now let's understand the sample test case and the question more precisely over here. Guys, this question is pretty much straightforward to understand. It says that chef took n total tests in his university, numbered 1 to n chronologically, and each was graded out of 100 marks. He scored A of I marks in each of the IA tests. Okay, so chef's scholarship required that his average remains or at above 40 marks after taking each test, and we have to get that was chef able to keep his scholarship. If he was able to scholarship, we have to print yes. In other case, we have to print no. Sorry. So, so now let's take the first test case. Okay. So in the first test case, we have got this is as 2 and the A of I the scores we have got for every test 0 and the 100. Okay. So, so in the first test case, of course, chef's average won't be like he said, it should be always above 40 marks. Okay, so basically it says that chef requires that his average remains or at above 40 marks, but it is 0 over here, and even if I do their average it will be 50, right? So from yes I can say that chef's average dropped below 40 after the first test itself, right? Because at every test, for every test, his average should be at least 40, right? Or above 40 marks, basically, above 40 marks. Okay. So from this, I can say that in the first test itself, he fails. So he immediately loses the scholarship. So, right. So now it doesn't matter what in the second test, his average even becomes 50. Okay. So output with it for this test case would be simply no. Sorry. Now let's take the other test case. Let's take the second test case, that is test 3, 41, 39, and 40. Okay, so over here you can see in the first test case, it is in the first test, his average is above 40, that is 41. In the second also his average would be like this, it would be again above 40, and this is still 40. So his average remains more or less above 40 marks itself throughout the test. Okay, so for every marks you have to keep on doing their average continuously, basically in a sequence. Okay, and we have to check to the last, is the average remains above 40 or not. If it is possible, then yes, in this test case it is possible, so output is simply yes. So guys, I think the test case is pretty much clear. Now let's move toward the simple solution. So guys, the solution is simple. After the first k test, chef's average is by definition this a1 plus a2 plus till a of k by k, and we have to compute this value for every k from 1 to n, and we have to check if they are all greater than equal to 40 or not, as we did for the first for the second test case. Okay, so guys, I think the solution, the test case are pretty much clear. Now let's move toward the simple C++ code for the question. So guys, this is my simple C++ code for the question. I took the input for all the test cases, as well as I took the input for my array in this vector. I initialized this string answer equal to yes and total equal to 0. I'm running a for loop. and in this total value, I'm keeping the sum of every integers from the array. Yeah. Over here, I'm getting their average and checking if in any of the case it gets below 40. In that case, I will simply print one. I will break out of the loop. If this loop gets completed, that means we are getting this answer is yes. And at the last, I'm simply printing answer. Okay. Whatever would be storing in this answer value. Okay. So as you can see that guys, I have got my C++ code right. Now let's move toward the simple Python code. So guys, this is my simple Python code. I took the input for all the test cases as well as my array. Initialize the value answer equal to yes. Initialize the value total equal to 0. I'm running a for loop, and in this total, I'm keeping the sum for every value, and throughout I'm getting their average and checking for every k, yeah, which lies from 1 to n. And in any of the k fails, I will simply print the no, and at the last I'm simply print answer. Okay. Over here, simply initializing answer equal to no. At the last, getting out of the loop, whatever would be the answer, I will print over here. And as you can see here, guys, I have got my Python code right. So, guys, I think the solution, the code in the approach was pretty much clear. Now, let's meet in the next video. Thank you so much, guys, for watching our videos.